Well, we've seen a lot of AI video models recently. There are many different companies creating open source and some closed source AI video models, and recently, LightTrix LTX Video, they have an updated model version of what they had in LTX Video, the version 0, 9.1. For the AI video model, you can download the model files on their Hugging Face page. Just go to the LightTrix LTX Video Model page. As we saw in a previous video on how to download their safe tensor checkpoint models, on the same page you go to the Files and Versions tab. Scroll down a little bit. Right here you see the LTX Video 2B0 9.1 version. This was updated 5 days ago at the time I recorded this. And the benefit of that is the text prompt instruction following has been improved, and also some motions of the generated AI video have been improved in this updated version. And previously, we had the 0.9 model of this, which was 9.3 gigabytes. And you see the file size is also trimmed down almost half the size. It's about 6 gigabytes for the 9.1 model. And I did a little testing, played around earlier today with the LTX video, this new updated version. And yes, it is improved a little bit for the motion movement, less morphing. And also the prompt instruction following of these models has been improved a little bit. And still these models require quite a long length of text prompts, even for image to video and video to video. You need to do a little more text prompting to instruct the AI what to do. Well, that's normal because it's a 2 billion parameter model. We don't expect it to be so creative and, create motions by itself without using text prompts. So that's something we need to be aware of. And also, the LightTrix ComfyUI custom nodes for LTX video are updated. We can use this to run the AI models for text to video, image to video, and video to video as well. And also, they are available to download in the ComfyUI manager. Now, speaking of ComfyUI, since you have the 9.1 model for LTX video, you're going to need to download the latest version update of ComfyUI. As you can see, when I click into the ComfyUI interface, you go to the ComfyUI manager here. Right here, there's a release note for the latest update of ComfyUI, where it is now supported natively in ComfyUI. Of course, that means LTX 0. 9.1 is supported because this version is using a new architecture of VA, so we have to update in order to run 9.1. And of course, once you update, you can also use the previous versions as well if you prefer. So I did the update through the ComfyUI manager. Just click the Update ComfyUI button right here, and then turn it off, restart ComfyUI, or manually turn everything off from the command prompt window, like you Control-C in Windows, and then it will stop the server. And right here, I can restart my ComfyUI just by typing python main.py, and it will start it again. So as you can see, I've installed the LTX ComfyUI nodes and also the ComfyUI LTX Trix custom nodes, which we've mentioned and talked about. There are some add-on custom nodes that allow you to add more video-to-video options, more flexibility, and more control for your video editing and the RF inversions. We've talked about that before, using this technique in video to video for editing elements or any objects in the video. And also, I recently saw updates for the flow edit. This is quite interesting because this one is able to use STG guidance, which is again another technique for latent image or latent data guidance other than using CFG. As I mentioned before, using LTX, and this is very attractive. One of the attractive points of using LTX video is that it fully supports STG guidance right now in ComfyUI natively. So what we can do right now is try that out first. And this is the very basic text-to-video workflow from the demo workflow in the LTX Trix custom nodes, and you can download that, or you already have it if you have the custom nodes. It's in the examples subfolder. So what's different is, again, I've mentioned the STG, where we have to add the modified LTX model, apply the attentions for the attention override. The sweet spot is 14 for working best for the override attentions, and the range down to 8 is also workable for STG guidance, and that's the thing you have to apply before you pass the model data to the sampling steps. So there's a sampler custom. This is, similar to K-sampler. If you're a beginner with AI image generation in ComfyUI, you'll see lots of K-samplers, but here is a little more advanced control for the sampling steps using the sampler custom. And one is on the top. Here we are using the STG, passing the override of the attention model to the sampler custom. The bottom part of this workflow is using the sampler custom without the STG. which means we are using the CFG as the example. I think we've talked about STG before, so I won't go into too much depth about it, but the main purpose of this video is we're going to see the 9.1 version of LTX Video, which, as we've talked about, is an update to version 0.9. We've tested that, and you guys have experienced that. I don't need to make any comments on that right now. So let's test out 9.1 here. I have some text. I generated some text prompts in OpenWebUI, and we can try that out here. So let's say I've got some Christmas and Santa movie scenes. I have some text prompts here for that. We're going to try them out here. Just a very brief text prompt here where we're showing a snow-covered village, and it's kind of a cinematic shot of this. Let's run this and see the comparison between the one without STG and the one with STG. And this is running in the latest version of LTX Video. Okay, we got the result here. Let's see the comparison. The left is without STG and the right one has STG enabled. Obviously, the left one is getting more light decorations for Christmas. But then you see the image quality. The one that enabled STG is doing better, even in a small, low-resolution size. Where you see here, the window frames are clearly generated, showing the house. But then on the left side, it's kind of morphing, covering the house with those Christmas lights, but doesn't really clearly show the picture or the image from the frames. And here's the LTX image to video. Now with LTX, we have to do a few things before passing the image to video processing, which we have the functions in Florence too, for getting the image to text. It will enable us to have a prompt enhancement lookalike prompts with more enhanced, enriched content in the text prompts. And also, we have some actions that we can define for the scenes in the image, where I have two ladies at a Christmas party exchanging gifts and smiling and cheerful, which will animate the characters here. And then right here, we got the resolutions for the video and the final video, which is like this. And of course, you can use other random seed numbers to try out different anime styles. But so far, I see this is the first try with this image to video for this demo. So far, it looks better than the previous LTX Video version, where you see the outfits and all the objects on the Christmas tree here. It's very coherent. And also, we are leveraging the STG guidance method, which allows it to get better consistent styles for the overall video's performance. And of course, for the start frame and end frame of this workflow that I built previously, the frame interpretations, it's also using the same concept where you have Florence 2 for generating the initial first frame's text prompts for the image loading here, and then we need the second frame here for the last frame of the video, because this is built for frame interpretations. Therefore, we have to set two images in these groups to generate a first and last frame connected animation in the video scenes. I did that in the previous video, so I won't go through that right now. It's pretty easy, self-explanatory stuff. And the last thing, Video Extend, again, I haven't updated this group yet, but I have added the audio using the Audios. It's a pretty handy model. I like to keep this in my system and, just use that to generate AI video clips, adding audio, having some sound on top of that. And what I want to talk about for the update of the LTX tricks here is the flow edit method for video to video. This is quite an awesome thing to try out. So back to ComfyUI. We'll check out how it works. So here's the latest flow edit workflow example. Again, you can try that out. You already have these simple examples in the GitHub repositories. You can just, go to this section called flow edit and click these example workflow links. You can get this workflow here. But of course, I'm not just showing the example workflow, which already has some basic simple nodes in there. I've added some settings that are suitable for what I want to generate. That's also up to you if you want to do some setting adjustments as well, because, sometimes if you customize it, you'll get better results. And sometimes, if you don't understand what's happening in the custom nodes, you'll get worse results. That's just how it is. And this workflow is basically like the video-to-video workflow that we've experimented with a lot before in AnimateDiff and other AI video tools. As you remember, in Cloud Video X, we did video-to-video using ControlNet and Pose. In LTX Video, we're using, previously we talked about RF inversion for editing objects, and Flow Edit also has similar stuff to run video to video. As you can see here, it's realism to anime styles or anime styles to realism styles, whichever way you want to play around with it. And of course, you're not limited to the video or the graphic styles. You can also edit the objects as well. So right here, I've got one example I want to show here, which is which is this video scene where you see a guy walking into the woods near the wilderness. No one's on this trail, this kind of video scene footage. And then we want to animate this, for example, in a collapsed society setting, making this wood or forest background into urban cities with fire and, buildings collapsing. All kinds of scenes can be done using this method here. So what I've done is, first we're going to load the video. We're using the latest version of the LTX AI models and also using the T5 clip loader, of course. And here you see there will be two pairs of text prompts for negative and positive. The top one here is for the source video where we just loaded that video of the guy walking into the forest. And the bottom one here is for how we want to edit the image or the video scene, how that looks in the output video. So there are two text prompts we have to identify, and of course below we have the VAE. We load the VAE for the encoder and pass that to the sampler to do the sampling steps. Right here we disable the noise because we have to get the source video frames, every single frame from there, to render another sampling. So therefore, we have to disable the noise. We're using the LTX Flow Edit Sampler. This is where the main things are coming in, the special difference from RF inversion where we're using the Flow Edit Sampler. This way we can use just one group of nodes rather than using upsampling and resampling nodes. It's a different mechanism between this one and the RF inversion that we talked about previously. So I think this one is clearer, easier to configure. It's just one group of nodes and it's very clear that you get two pairs of text prompts for video editing. Here we have two LTX conditions, very simple to manage, and the LTX for Flow CFG guidance. This is the main stuff, the nitty-gritty, where we're going to set the source positive and source negative prompts, and then of course the target as well, where the target is the video that we're going to generate. So this is the guidance, passing the guider data right here. I would suggest you set the CFG settings by default here, just don't touch it at this moment. If you have the confidence to change that later on after you test this workflow or the LTX Flow edit nodes, then you can try to play with those numbers. But before passing the data here, we see something familiar again. We have the attention override using the STG attention guidance, where we are overriding the guidance here already, so set that to 5. As you can see, it's not like what we normally do, CFG 3 or 4 in this node, because here we have something higher for the target CFG, so we have to override that as well. I think that's the reason they set these CFG numbers a little higher for the attention override. Of course, we're using 14 for the default values, and basically this is going to be the flow edit group in this workflow for editing the video. And on the right side, as you can already see, we've got the generated result. You see the guy walking, and here's a side-by-side comparison between the source and the target video. The motions are the same. The guy's walking into the forest like that. But then I did the text prompt editing for the output video with burning fires, society collapse, buildings collapsing, the feeling and the style like that for the guy walking into the forest motions. So therefore, it's looking pretty smooth actually. The motions of the output video from here, you see the fires are very coherent and the styles of the branches. The road here is very consistent on every image frame. When the guy is walking, you see the road. This white line is not breaking or morphing. And also the guy has very consistent style. The backpack looks, dirty, and all the mud and dust there looks pretty good this time. The LTX update of the AI models is also using the STG method, and I pretty much like it. I pretty much like this flow edit method for video editing, for video to video, rather than using the previous version of RF inversion where, as you can see, RF inversion is kind of complex. You've got unsampling and resampling. And this is the current updated workflow version of RF inversion, where I'm also using the image as a reference to do the resampling. Therefore, we don't need to type too much text prompt. Actually, I can copy this part here for our edit flow groups, where we can do the text prompt here automatically using an image as a reference. So let's say we can change the text prompt clips input. Here we pass the positive prompts for the edited video. So right here, for example, we've got this group. We can pass the string here to the top. But of course, you have to identify the image that has similarity with the generated video. Of course, if you have a guy walking into the forest, something like that, you find a similar image reference, the output video is going to perform better than if you just randomly pick one image, like this example. I picked this AI girl image, it won't get a good result. So let's say I've got another image like this one. This will be better for what we have in our source video, the guy walking. Let's try to animate this using this video, this image as a reference. So overall, with this flow edit workflow, we're basically automating the whole process without too much text prompt typing here. The only thing you can do text prompt typing is right here in the bottom part in this text box where you want what kind of actions or scenes you want the reference image character to animate or some kind of action movement. But here, since we're using the video-to-video method, the movement and the motions are already guided by the video. Yeah. So basically input whatever image as the style reference, then you're good to go. So right here, let's say I've created a group for this. So image to text for target video. So this will be for the image to text for the target video. In this group, we're going to experiment with this. And also, we have the top part here, which is for the source video, where we're referencing the first few image frames from the loaded video part here. So I'm going to try the same video as a source and use this image, and we got the result here. This one looks a lot better than the previous LTX video. I mean, once I use this 09.1 with the STG method for the attention override, the guidance, and also the edit flow, I mean, the edit flow is, I can say it's better, like for the processing time, it's faster than RF inversion previously, where we had to do 2 samplings, upsampling and resampling here, but then in the flow edit, we're just using 1 sampling step of processing, and it's very easy to manage, handle the text prompt, it's very clear to understand. Okay, this is for the target, the source video, and this is for the target, whatever I want to change how the style looks. And the output is amazing. As you see, you're editing the guy walking with the same motions as well. But then the forest, the dense forest here, you see the river. It's not like a dried road from the source video. And also the backpack, the outfit of the character as well, is changed because I have the image for the reference, for the target video reference, where it pretty much looks like this image for the stylized look, the river right in the middle. The person looks like is walking across the river or jumping onto the rocks, which has very similar styles in the output generated video. And this is in the realism style. It's not in the cartoon style like the reference image that I have. And this is awesome. So yep, LTX Video should be a good video model for local AI running operating AI video models in ComfyUI right now. It should be, you guys should follow more about these AI video models if you want to use ComfyUI locally to generate AI video. I think this is more suitable, more consumer PC friendly for that to run. So yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video, and have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. See ya.